guys, welcome back to the Cake Lady podcast. Sorry for not uploading last weekend. I've been moving and it's been really hectic because I did not realize how much stuff I have. So, yeah, I've only got about like half moved in right now. So, I've been working on getting the other half moved in before Friday. So, it's been great. Today I'm sitting down with part of Gravethorn. Yeah, they'll be here in a few minutes, don't worry. I wish I could give you a background, but I'm so sorry. I've just been like going, and it's like slipped my mind now. Like I knew what I wanted to say and then it was gone. So yeah, they'll be here in a few minutes. Stay tuned for Band of the Week and Song of the Week posts. And I will have a weekly playlist. Ooh, it'll be updated every Wednesday. And that will be posted tonight. Yeah, I think that's everything I've had to say. Yeah, so stay tuned. Gravethorn will be here in a bit. And then, good God, I'm forgetting everything. And then, stay tuned at the end for a Gravethorn song. I'm still deciding what it is, and I will let you know at the end. Okay, I will see you guys in a few minutes. Okay, woo, here we go. All right. Okay, woo. Woo, it's been a busy day. Okay, do you want to introduce yourself and your band?
Sure. My name is Christoph. I'm the founding member of the band Gravethorn.
Okay, and hang on, let me pull up my questions over here.
Sure.
Do you want to give me like a background on Gravethorn?
Sure. Gravethorn started by accident. I was in another band prior to Gravethorn. We recorded a CD. We were not happy with the mix at all. The guy that we paid to do the mix, it was just not very good. And during COVID, I was closed from work for 3 months. So I transferred my spare bedroom here into a studio. And I said, well, give me a year. I'm going to figure out how to mix, and I'm going to learn and watch as many videos as I can and absorb as much knowledge as I can, and figure this out. So a year went by. I mixed that CD way better than what it was. Not that it's great. It was my first CD I ever mixed, but it is what it is. And then after we released that, shortly after the band kind of split up, and I kept going. I had enough material to eventually release my own CD. So that's what's going on with Gravethorn. So.
Well, I mean, it shows a great work ethic. I could not imagine trying to learn that.
A lot of frustration, but the satisfaction at the end, I can't measure that. So.
Yeah. So did you just learn through like YouTube and stuff?
As far as mixing goes, yeah. And there's some forums and stuff. Sometimes you get emails from people that are knowledgeable on it, and they want you to buy their program, but they offer you a free trick here and there. Yeah. So those are always worth it up. So, but yeah, a lot of it was just learning from YouTube and trial and error.
Yeah, I mean that's actually pretty cool. And you said the band broke up, so like, what do you think the future is like holding for you in terms of like releasing new music?
Well, let's see. So right now, Gravethorn is a solo project. It's just me. I did all the music. I wrote all the music, and I had guitar players from previous bands that I've been involved in. We always, if the band broke up, it was always on good terms. There was never any drama or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I had some guitar players, previous bands I was in, play a couple of leads here. So it's kind of like a family tree sort of thing. And now, when does this podcast come out?
What's today? Wednesday? I'll probably post it Saturday.
Okay, so I am going to give you some exclusive information that nobody knows yet, because I'm posting that information on Friday.
Oh, that's good.
My drummer, the previous band, Achromatica, he likes the Gravethorn stuff a lot, and he is interested in it. And one of the guitar players that did a solo on there also wants to jump onto Gravethorn, and it looks like we're going to make a band out of it and not just a one man project.
Awesome.
With lots of rehearsals, and we need to get a few more members, obviously. But hopefully that's going to lead to some shows, getting on some festivals and future recordings. With it's always fun to record with different people that have different ideas
Yeah.
versus just me running the pros and cons to both. But I think you're going to get a more diverse sound when you have other members of the band as well.
Yeah, because you
So
have
looking
like
forward.
more external output than just yourself. 'Cause, like,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, it's like an art. Because, like, I know artists who'll be like, look at their drawing, oh my God, it's terrible. And then you look at it and it's like the most prettiest thing you've ever seen. So,
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I'm also a tattoo artist by trade,
oh my
and
God.
our tattoos we're never 100% happy with them. I mean, we'll
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
we'll think we are, as most artists. We'll stare at it, that we'll stare at the picture that night and beat ourselves up over it.
Yeah, I love tattoos. I love getting tattoos, but my tattoo artist has
Okay.
messed me up. So,
Oh no.
yeah, like I have a thigh piece and it was supposed to look like a specific drawing. And one of the apprentices told me that he was high on meth that day, which is why
Not good.
my leg is so messed up. So I was like, oh, that's great to know, I guess.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's almost a common story in the tattoo industry. They're high on, strung out on heroin, strung out on cocaine. But there's a lot of good artists that don't do drugs, don't drink, or they just smoke a little weed and they keep their drinking like
Yeah.
out of work. They don't go with it. Nothing wrong with any of it as long as you have it under control. But unfortunately, it sounds like your guy didn't, and I'm
Oh, yeah,
sorry to
it
hear
was
that.
bad.
It's a dent on the industry, which is what we don't want.
Well, no, okay, so like I'm in Illinois and the town, like Bloomington, I've been to a couple tattoo places and I just don't think there's a good tattoo artist in Bloomington, like at all. Like my best friend's a tattoo artist and she's like pretty good, so I mean I would trust her with my arm and stuff, but like everyone else I've been to has like no.
Yeah, I mean, it's on you forever and it's your body. So if unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there, they're more than willing to settle for halfway decent work, or even bad work to help their friends, but you just kind of
Yeah.
devalued your whole body when you have bad tattoos on you.
Yeah.
And it's important to do your research and only go to the best that you can get a hold of.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I think it's a good thing that I'm young because I'm like, I've got a good amount of tattoos. I'm going to stop. I'm going to fix what I have and then I'll keep going.
it sounds like a solid plan.
Because it's like better than like going and like getting more. And then like when you like get a full sleeve, you're like, oh my God, how am I supposed to fix this one piece? Because I
Right.
got that like years ago.
Got stuff that needs fixing, it's best to leave the space around it so that they have the room to fix it. Because if
Yeah.
it's just locked into all these other tattoos, it really limits what you're going to be able to get out of it.
Yeah. So where did the name Gravethorn come from?
A lot of my ideas, which seem to be my best ideas, they come to me when I'm halfway between sleeping and awake. That period when you fall asleep and you're like almost into dreaming, but you're not quite there. It's almost like a mild hallucination.
Yeah.
And I had this weird kind of hallucination where, think of like many centuries ago, and, kings and people on the upper level of society, if they passed away, they would bury them with their valuables and their belongings. And
Yeah.
these experts that were in charge of the burials, they would wrap and keep in mind, this is not factual. This is just this weird hallucination thing I had.
Yeah.
They would wrap this grave with these thorns that were soaked in like a toxin for a
Yeah.
while. And they would carefully wrap the casket in these thorns and bury it so that way it would be a deterrent to the grave robbers who wanted to go and get the valuables, because if they got pricked by the thorn, a raven would come and basically inhale their soul out of their body. So again, it doesn't make sense, which ironically a lot of my
Yeah, that's like
sense.
pretty cool lore though. Like you could write a
Yeah.
whole little like short story about that. I think
Hey,
I'm
why
gonna steal
not?
that for one of my
But
English
that's
classes. So what would you say would be the biggest influence in your music in terms of like the lyrics and stuff or the instrumentals?
Uh, Again, I mean, the lyrics and stuff, like little passages, they come to me in that dreamy, half awake state. Again, they're not meant to make sense, but a lot of them, it is about like, heathenry, pagan ways, overcoming oppression from, an overlord that wants servants, pretty much,
Yeah.
things like that. Giving, honoring witches, honoring heathens, things like that. There was obviously a struggle throughout the centuries that, there were battles that were lost, and not fairly either, and people were forced to give up their old ways, and they didn't get everybody to give them up, because, as you probably know, they're creeping back in, and they're getting more accepted. So
Oh yeah.
that's what a lot of the content is. The music, a lot of that stuff, again, it just comes to me in my head, and sometimes it comes to me and it leaves as soon as it comes to me. And it's like, oh, that was a really good riff, like a lot of my ideas. And I don't know, they just come to me. And I was telling somebody about that, and they said, dude, that's the spirits on the other side giving you messages. That came from the ether. And I was just like, well, that's cool, because a lot of it's stuff I wouldn't have even thought of. I wouldn't have even, like, that would have never came into my head. And so the more I thought about that, it's like, well, that's really cool. And that's another thing. After I heard that, a lot of the topics too, there's a certain amount of necromancy involved in the lyrical themes, with communicating with the dead and things like that. And I even created a symbol which appears on the cover of the album, that's just a made up symbol, but it represents communicating with the dead.
That's like a really cool lore like behind like everything. Like I feel like you could be one of those bands that does that with like creating your own little world around an album. It's like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's not based on anything factual or anything like that.
Yeah.
It is just imaginary. And like I said, a lot of it doesn't make any sense. It's not supposed to. I'm not a poet. I'm not political. I'm not trying to convert people into anything. It's just, go on this journey and be entertained. That's really what it is.
It's like the best type of music. So,
Oh,
like during like when you're like half awake, half asleep, and you think of this stuff, do you ever like jump up and be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool," or like, "Oh, that's a great idea," and like just immediately get to work, or you're like, "Oh, I'll do it in the morning."
absolutely. Well, so, yeah, sometimes, especially if it's lyrical, I will open up my phone, go into the notes, and just put it in. And then sometimes the next morning, I'm like, well, that was stupid, But sometimes it's like, whoa, I'm gonna work off of that and expand on that idea.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So as far as the music goes, no, I hope I remember it in the morning, but 99 out of 100, I don't. So
Do you ever like kick yourself because you're just like, "Oh, that was so cool," and I can't remember it?
there's so many reasons to kick myself. After a while, it's just like, it's a little bit of everything.
I'll save that problem for another day. Um.
Sure.
Oh, I forgot to ask you where you're based from.
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Woo, that's pretty out there. Desert. Do you have like, are you planning any upcoming shows or like song releases, or are you like still trying to get everything worked out with the new members coming in?
Well, the debut album just dropped last week,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna take some time to push that and get the other guys to learn that, and then whenever anybody else comes along that's going to be a good fit, we got to get them on board with it. So right now, I'm not anticipating any new music, because this is technically the new music.
Yeah.
Once we have a solid lineup, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But we're pretty far from that right now. Right now, it's all about promoting this new release.
Yeah.
And there's no
I mean,
shows lined up.
I could do like an album review like next week too.
Cool.
Give me
Cool.
like some time to listen to it. Okay.
Do it while you're on the, get some of those good messages.
What? It like glitched.
Do it while you're falling asleep. Those messages that I get.
Oh yeah. I could write my own guitar riff then too.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. So, I mean, when I listen to your music, I think of like, I forget what that band's called, but like, the Viking-based bands who do the like Valhalla songs. Like that's what I think of.
There's a few of
Yeah. What
that's good.
like trying to think how to phrase it. Are there any like is there any like style of music or other bands that you listen to that like have an impact on how you write music or come up with riffs and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you could I could listen to a lot of different bands and say, wow, that's a great riff, and somehow it's stuck in my head, and then you aspire to do that. I like bands like Watain. Obviously, I'm wearing the shirt. Belphegor is very high on my list. Um, Dark Funeral, Immortal, Amon Amarth, Behemoth. You know, a lot of those bands are just they're excellent. And I was over the moon when I first heard my stuff on Pandora. Their algorithm picked it up, and they played a lot of those bands right after Gravethorn, and I was beyond thrilled because it was just like, wow, it's almost like being in the cool kids club, you
Yeah,
know?
that's a really good accomplishment.
Yeah.
Because, like, I know
Thank you.
Spotify is definitely really picky about it. And, like, they don't really throw in, like, newer stuff. But, like,
Right.
Pandora is like, heck yeah. Let me just throw that in something real quick. Like,
Unfortunately, Spotify listeners, so you got to get your stuff on Spotify to get
yeah.
noticed, and they pay the least too, which sucks. But it's one of those things you gotta put a lot of effort in just to get people to hear you, and there's not going to be much of a reward on Spotify other than a lot of people might know you and they might not.
Yeah.
Who knows? But you know, it's all ambitious thinking. So
Yeah, like I see bands who like on YouTube they have like millions of views, but you go on Spotify, their monthly listeners are like under 20K, and it's like that
right,
doesn't seem correct,
I hope to get to 20K.
right? Yeah.
There's a lot of things that there's a lot of promotion that you have to pay for to get to that level too. It's not just sharing things on Facebook. I mean, I try to do
Oh
that
yeah.
too, but you gotta get to a certain point where you really, you know, how far do you want to take the band, because you really have to, there's
Yeah,
some
you gotta get the
financial,
word out. And that's like
yeah, and
always the hardest part. I
it
like
could be
for
expensive.
yeah, for
Yeah.
young people like me, I mean, at least there's like TikTok and stuff. And we
Hmm.
know how to like play that game, but like I see for like, older generations who are doing music, they don't really know how to get it out there. Yeah.
I'm in that.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
that's why it's beneficial too when you start gaining traction. If you can swing it, it's beneficial to have somebody young in your corner to do all your social media and all that stuff
oh yeah.
for you. Uh,
But you gotta get like
and,
up there a bit to be able to like pay them and stuff too.
yeah, somebody who knows what they're doing, it'll be worth it. But you know, make sure
Yeah.
you're not just paying a bunch of bots from a third world country to like your stuff. You know, because that won't do you
Yeah.
any favors.
Ooh, my God, I almost dropped it. The
Oh,
sun is setting, so I'm gonna ask you like one more question and then hop off.
all
If
right.
you were to, set up your own show and you were like headlining or you were opening, what bands would you want to be in that lineup?
Uh, that would be a tough question. Do I get to pick the venue?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go for Wacken in Germany, because that's going to be a huge venue.
Oh heck yeah.
Um, uh, let's get Iron Maiden to headline it. Let's get a Black Sabbath reunion and get Ozzy healthy. Um, let's try working some of those pagan magic powers and bring Lemmy back from the dead, because opening up for Motorhead would be unbelievable.
That would
And
be.
yeah, the other bands, I've seen them plenty of times. They always delivered. Lemmy always delivered. And then the other bands I would play with, you know, let's get Behemoth, the Monomarth, you know, the bands we mentioned, Immortal, Dark Funeral, Emperor. They're heroes of mine. I'm going to see them Saturday. They're one of my
That's awesome.
favorites. But yeah, all those guys. I mean, let's make it a festival. If I can be
Heck
on the, if
yeah.
I can just be those guys. I don't need to headline or anything, just to be a part of something massive like that. And as long as the people in the audience like what they're hearing, you want to put the smiles on the faces, and you want people to say, yeah, Gravethorn kicked ass.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Oh yeah, that'd be a sick lineup too. That'd be like a weekend festival. You could call like the OGs or something.
Hey, while we're
It'd be
digging
awesome.
while we're digging up the dead, let's get Jimi Hendrix on board with it, and Robert
Yeah.
Johnson.
Okay, well, thank you for being on my podcast. It was nice to talk to you and
Yeah,
like.
thank you.
Ooh, here.
All right. Well, listen, when you listen to my stuff, listen to it in good health and prosperity around you.
Thank you. All right.
All right. Yeah.
And I'm just gonna remind the audience to stay till the end, where I will put Monolith Rising at the end.
Oh, very cool. Send me a link to your podcast, please. I'm pretty sure that I will be working when it's on, but
Yeah.
I'll definitely share it, get other people to listen to it.
Yeah, I will post the link Saturday when I get it up. I'm probably gonna do the editing tonight since I'll be on third shift, so I'll be doing nothing. So.
All right.
All right. Have a good night or day. I don't know what time it is there.
Here.
All right. Bye.
Take care.
Guys, again for tuning into the Cake Lady podcast. Just realized I forgot to film the outro again, and that's always the best. I really hope that wasn't muffled. My finger was on my speaker. That was Gravethorn, and what was I gonna say? I forgot. Tune in for Monolith Rising after this. Make sure to stay active on Facebook and keep an eye out for Band of the Week and Song of the Week and my top songs of the week every Wednesday. They are updated. I just started that. I'm so excited. Okay, tune in next Friday. I forget who I'm sitting down with, but tune in next Friday for another episode. And this is Monolith Rising by Gravethorn. Alright, I love you all. Have an amazing day, night. I don't know where you're watching from. This is Monolith Rising.